All right, everybody, welcome back. It's week 9 review, also known as the week that the jinx was broken. Um, we'll get to that game, but let's start with the game of the week. The Bibs game of the week was Graham against Drew, and I picked Graham to win, and I was pretty confident in that pick, but then I thought Drew was going to come back last night, but luckily Graham held him off for a 4-point win. Um, Key players for Graham. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is. I don't know if he can do anything not to be the fantasy MVP this year. The big ones is Ronald Jones, making his first appearance on this review. And it looks like he's the starter going forward, so that looks like a good pickup for Graham. Um, and then overall, nobody did really bad on Graham's team. They all did kind of serviceable. Michael Gallup had 9 points for him, so that was good. Looking at Drew's team, the big guys did what they were supposed to do. Lamar Jackson crushed the Patriots, which was great to see. Le'Veon Bell saved his day with some garbage time stuff. Zach Ertz made an appearance this year, which was nice to see. Um, but overall, he had a couple of stinkers that really negatively affected him. Sony Michelle, he didn't do anything. Danny Amendola didn't do anything. Both these teams scored pretty well, 114, 110, so somebody had to win. Fortunate for my picks, that was Graham. Looking back at the next game, we'll talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Haughn trading me his top running back or one of his top running backs, having that running back score 20 points for me and still beating me. Um, that sucks for me. Broke my 5 game win streak. Uh, keep Key players for me. Really three big ones. Deshaun Watson, Derrick Henry, and Melvin Gordon all had 20 plus points. Normally, you score 109, you feel pretty good about your chances. But looking at Haughn, starting out with Emmanuel Sanders on Thursday night, having a really good day, and then the stack of Jameis Winston and Mike Evans was just too good, and followed it up by having the Dallas kicker score 16 points when he needed 9 to beat me. So, what can you do? Uh, Last year he scored 197 points on me. This year he beat me with his kicker after giving me his best player. So maybe Hahn just has my number. Hopefully for me, I make the playoffs and he doesn't, and I never have to face him again this year. Um, but Derek mentioned it on the message board. It looks like the jinx is over. Hahn told me I actually had to believe it for the jinx to be true. So we'll see what happens next week. Next game. Sorry, back using the tablet again. Next game is Devin against Dan. The Chub Chub train keeps on rolling. 9-0 now. So he's pretty much got first place locked up. And it's almost foregone that he's going to set the record for wins. Be interesting if he wins again this week in week 10. He'll play me to beat my regular season record. So that could be another kick in the pants. But looking at this game, one major superstar in this game was Russell Wilson. So Russell had 49. Otherwise, Dan Evans' team outplayed Devin's team. Key guys for Dan was David Montgomery, and Amari Cooper put up 33 points combined. And DK Metcalf, 21 points. Really good there. Juju Smith-Schuster threw down another crappy performance, only getting 16 yards. For Devin, pretty solid along the board. You got 11 from Hopkins, 13 from Zeke, 13 from Adrian Peterson, 9 from Chubb, but that 49 from Russell Wilson was just unbeatable. Biggest stinker for Devin is old Mark Andrews at tight end and Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett is linebacker with 1.5, so no sacks for him this week. But so I picked Devin to win that one, and 9-0, so I was good with that one. Like I said, I didn't mention it, but I picked Hahn, so that makes me 3-0 for the week. Next game's Deke against Matty Ice. So it started out with me picking Deke because Matt decided not to have a running back, and then his team decided they weren't going to show up either. So Matty Ice only scored 86 points, which would have been enough to win one matchup by quite a lot this week, but we'll get into that later. But Derek put up the high score of the week at 125. Started off with his new franchise quarterback, Jimmy G, putting up 36 on Thursday night. So that was a really good start. So he's a really good player. Saquon Barkley kind of got hemmed in by Dallas. He only scored only got 9.5 points. DJ Moore, good game. But Josh Jacobs was a stud. He had 24 points. So if it weren't for guys like Christian McCaffrey taking all the headlines for running back, people might be talking about Josh Jacobs a little more. Really, really good rookie season. Looking at Matty Ice's team, Aaron Rodgers, I don't even know how many hit points he had at the first half, but that must have been really low. George Kittle had 14 points. He had one of Jimmy G's touchdowns. And Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill had 20 points with Matt Moore. So it'll be interesting to see what Tyreek does when Mahomie comes back. And if you haven't seen it, there's a video floating around of Tyreek Hill standing at a complete stop when Damian Williams runs by on his 91-yard touchdown. And Damian Williams runs by him at full speed with Tyreek Hill basically standing still. And then you watch Tyreek Hill catch up to him like he was nothing. Like, these are fast guys, and he caught up and passed him going into the end zone. Said he did it because Damian Williams tells everyone he's the fastest guy on the Chiefs. So that was fun and interesting. Otherwise, not really much to say about this game. Deke won it by 40. Picked Deke because of the David Johnson insertion in the lineup, and came true. So 4-0 for the week. So we'll look at Rich's game. So Rich's game put him up into second place, alone in second place. He beat Danny Wynot, by 6 points. So that was really a close matchup. This was probably between this one and Graham and Drew. Those were some really close matchups. We actually had stuff on the line going into Friday night, but it shouldn't have been. But Julius Peppers decided to put up almost 13 points in the defensive back slot to make it a lot closer. And he had about 10 of those or 9 of those by halftime. So it was looking like there was a chance that Danny Wynot could pull this one out. Key players for Danny Wynot. Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett and Marvin Jones, actually. Both put up really good. They combined for 45 points for Danny. When Danny offered me the trade Marvin Jones for Matt Breida, I asked a few people before. I accepted it right away because I love Matt Breida. But I asked a few people. I said, what am I missing? What am I missing? Well, Danny knows wide receivers. That's what I've decided because he kept Tyler Lockett. And he's got Marvin Jones in his lineup, and he's doing really well. So good on you, Danny. You won that trade as far as overall points goes. Marvin Jones having a great year. Philip Lindsay comes to play this week, gets 15 points. And really the thing that... and then my new acquisition, Jordan Howard, he had 14 points for Danny. The reason Danny lost was Garden Minnow. In his last game as a Jacksonville Jags starter, he stunk. Like he got 302 yards, but no touchdowns, a couple of interceptions. He stunk. 3 fantasy points. That basically cost Danny the win. On Rich's side, you got Kenny Golladay with another great game, 19 points. Dalvin Cook had less points than I thought he was going to have, but didn't need him because he got the win. But he was still good. He had 11.6 points. He's number 2 running back overall for the year, so that's a good one. Good start for him. Melvin Ingram ran really well against the Patriots. That was a nice one for him to have 11 yards. Carlos Hyde cut from Kansas City because they wanted to go another direction. Cut from Cleveland, basically cut from Jacksonville. has found a home in Houston, and he looks great. Good pickup by Rich on Carlos Hyde, sorry. Um, Rich started off the week not looking great. Tevin Coleman, who had 30 some points last week, had 3 this week. But got the win. That's all that matters. 16-point kicker helps. And the last game of the week, by the way, I picked Rich. That made me 5-0. And I picked Jason Calder. And Calder won, which means I was 6-0 this week. Calder won with under 70 points. So, not much good. What's interesting is that Yip's team had 27 of their 62 points from Kirk Cousins. Otherwise, Fournette got 7. He had Marquez, Valdez, Scantling, Goost. Adam Thielen came in, started the game, left shortly after with no points. Mostert, who's been getting some carries, 3 yards. Tyrell Williams played and finally didn't get a touchdown for the first time. He stunk. Robbie Gould did nothing. Kicker. It was Kirk Cousins and no one else. On the other side of the ball, there wasn't really anybody. The best player for Jason Calder's team in his 4th win of the year was Budda Baker. Budda Baker had 15 points. It was all over the field. He almost outscored his quarterback, but he had 1 goose. Juan Alexander's done for the year, so he's going to need a new linebacker. But otherwise, no one's good, but no one's as bad as they were on Yip's team. So I set a record this week. That's my first ever 6-0 week. Puts me up to, I think, 34-22. But I'll double check that math. So I think I was 28-22, but I might have been less than that. So either way, I'm 6 games better than I was the last time. I did lose to Haughn again, which sucked. But let's look at the positives. Devin's still rolling strong. He's pretty much locked up first place. He definitely has locked up the playoffs. And Jason Calder has 4 times the amount of wins already this season that he had last year. 4 wins out of 9 games is his best record ever. He's got a good team. It's trade time, We're moving some players around. So yeah, it's waiver night tonight. So hopefully you guys all forgot, so I get all the players that I want because I have a roster to fill out. But yeah, it's a fun. Other than losing, everything about fantasy was fun this week. So, if you don't like it, just trade them away like I do. So anyway, like I said, weekly preview coming up. We got good matchups coming up again this week. I will do Jason Calder's team this week against Haughn as game of the week. But a couple real intriguing matchups this week. So looking forward to 6 teams on a bye. Hopefully nobody's totally screwed. But anyway, I'm just babbling now because I'm tired. So just remember, women don't find you handsome. There's always fantasy.